Toy Story has been around for 30 years and has definitely left its mark on several generations. But have you noticed that throughout all these years and after 5 movies, several toys have simply disappeared without leaving a single trace?
Is that Bo?
That was exactly the case with the friendly rubber penguin Wheezy. Present since the first movie of the franchise, he appears in the second movie sidelined on the top shelf of Andy's room, where he was hidden by the boy's mom after the toy's squeaker broke. That's why when Woody accidentally tears his arm, Mrs. Davis puts him on that exact same shelf and the sheriff accidentally finds Wheezy there, looking downcast and completely covered in dust. Woody, with Buster's help, manages to replace Wheezy's squeaker, but ends up being taken by the movie's villain, the Chicken Man, in the process. After that, Wheezy appears in Toy Story 3 in the scene where we see Andy watching a movie, and later when Woody's gang starts talking about the attic, the sheriff mentions that unfortunately, they had already lost some friends, like Wheezy.
Whoa, hold on, now wait a minute, quiet! No one's getting thrown out, okay? We're all still here. I mean, yeah, we've lost friends along the way.
It is implied that the penguin was sold at a new yard sale or simply donated. However, the real reason for his disappearance is much darker and sadder. The truth is that the rubber penguin was voiced by Joe Ranft, one of Pixar's first employees. However, in 2005, he passed away in a tragic car accident while on his way to a spiritual retreat where he was going to volunteer. This happened 6 years after the release of Toy Story 2 and 5 years before the release of the third movie. For this reason, the animation directors thought it best to retire the character, but keep a tribute and reference to their friend and coworker. Rest in peace, Joe and Wheezy. Besides the little penguin, several other characters and toys from Buzz and Woody's franchise disappeared because of the most different reasons that we are going to reveal to you right now. Get ready because we are about to blow your mind. In Toy Story, when we see the backstory of Lotso, the movie's villain, we see that along with the evil strawberry-scented bear, 2 other toys were also forgotten. Big Baby and Chuckles, that sad clown we see in a few scenes of the film, who reveals the origin story of Lotso's tyranny. At the end of the movie, he ended up becoming one of Bonnie's toys. But after that, he was simply never seen again, not in the 4th movie, let alone in the various franchise specials created during that period. But the reason for this is sadder than anyone could think. Chuckles' voice actor, named Bud Lucky, died before Toy Story 4, just like what happened with Wheezy. And as you can tell, Pixar has a habit of not using a toy anymore when their voice actor passes away, out of respect for them. Now let's talk about a character who appeared, disappeared, and seems like he's going to return now in the 5th movie. We are talking about Combat Carl. Originally, we saw not 1, but 2 Combat Carl action figures in the 2013 Halloween short called Toy Story of Terror. In the animation, we meet both of them, one of them being a 12-inch action figure and the other being just a 4-inch figure. And they were voiced by the historic Hollywood actor Carl Weathers, who has also passed away. In this horror special, Combat Carl is one of the main characters. And 6 years later, many people get confused because in Toy Story 4, we see not 1, but 3 mini versions of Combat Carl reporting a reconnaissance report to Bo Peep. However, none of those was the original Carl seen in the Halloween special, indicating that the 12-inch action figure had really been left behind just in that short film, and from that moment on, would join the franchise's list of missing toys. But it is already confirmed both by leaked images and by the choice of a new voice actor that not only will we have a Combat Carl in the 5th movie, but he will probably be the exact same character from the horror, short from over 10 years ago. However, from the looks of it, he will be looking quite different, with various paintings drawn on his body by some kid who loves to paint. So he is what we can call a former missing toy, isn't he? Lilypad is going to have to work really hard to become the biggest villain of the franchise, because many believe that title belongs to Lotso, the villain of Toy Story 3. In fact, the rumors that he will be in the 5th movie are pretty strong. He himself is a very bad guy, and there is no doubt about that, because he ran Sunnyside daycare as if he were a tyrant, and anyone who stood up to him ended up locked up. So much so that his ending was the worst a Toy Story villain ever had, with him becoming a hood ornament on a garbage truck. But check this out. Lotso is still alive and might manage to break free someday. And if that happens, he will definitely want to get revenge on Woody, Buzz, Jessie, and the rest of the toys in their gang. And that could happen in Toy Story 5. Let's keep our eyes peeled. Now seriously, after all these details and Easter eggs, I think we deserve your subscription, don't we? Stinky Pete is yet another very evil Toy Story villain who paid the consequences for his actions and never showed up again after that. In Toy Story 2, he thought toys needed to be put away and wanted to force Woody, Jessie, and Bullseye to stay locked up in a toy museum in Japan. In the end, Stinky Pete ended up falling into the backpack of a little girl who loves to scribble on her dolls. And it's obvious that this left him terrified. But is he still living with that girl to this day? And since we know that Jessie is one of the new main characters in the franchise, it wouldn't be weird if he also showed his face in Toy Story 5, wouldn't you agree? In Toy Story 3, Lotso had a few henchmen, and one of them was Big Baby, who had the same owner as Lotso. During the feature film, Big Baby betrayed the bear and helped Woody's crew defeat him. At the end of the movie, he continued living at Sunnyside Daycare, and just like Ken, was never seen again. We figure that, just like Ken and Barbie, Big Baby continues living at Sunnyside to this day. However, there are always chances that Pixar might be wanting to catch us by surprise with some revelation. Who knows, maybe it will be shown that a kid from the daycare grabbed Big Baby and took him home. We mentioned Sid, but the mutant toys he put together by joining parts from different dolls also vanished from the series. The last time we looked at them was at the end of the first Toy Story, with them watching Woody and Buzz escape from Sid's house. Their whereabouts after that is a huge mystery. Since Sid was so scared after the shock they gave him, the mutant toys might have taken the opportunity to bounce from his house too. Another possibility is that the mutant toys stayed there, but Sid never came near them again because of the trauma, which shows that they could live in peace, and let's just hope Sid didn't throw them in the trash thinking they were cursed or something like that, but he probably wouldn't even have the guts to do that. The crazy part is that it would make a lot of sense to see them showing up in Toy Story 5, since many toys are being forgotten because kids are preferring tablets. So, it would be cool if Sid's mutant toys teamed up with Woody and Bo Peep's crew to shelter these abandoned dolls. After all, the mutant toys are living proof that it's better to have no owner than to have an evil owner. Would you also like to see these missing dolls returning in Toy Story 5? If so, comment down below, #missing. It seems pretty crazy that Barbie and Ken appear in Toy Story, but it's real. Barbie was the doll of Molly, Andy's sister, while Ken was a Sunnyside doll that she met when she moved there with the rest of Woody's gang in Toy Story 3. After Lotso's downfall, Barbie and Ken became the new bosses of Sunnyside and turned the daycare into an awesome place for the dolls. And from that moment on, they stopped appearing in the saga. Ken never showed up again after Toy Story 3, while Barbie even managed to show her face in Toy Story 4, but only inside a flashback. It's safe to assume that the two of them are still running Sunnyside to this day. And if we stop to notice, they had one of the best endings in the franchise. In the first movie of the franchise, we meet Mr. Mike, affectionately called Mike. He was a very useful toy that was used whenever Woody needed to get the gang in order. Exactly for this reason, the character played a fundamental role in the toy system of Andy's room. Woody, being Andy's favorite toy, helped the other toys behave and stay out of trouble. When the sheriff called a meeting, like when Buzz appeared in the room, Mike was there to amplify Woody's voice so that all the toys in the room could hear. He was so important that at the end of Toy Story 2, he joined Wheezy in a celebratory musical number, providing the penguin with a microphone to sing "You've Got a Friend in Me." But in Toy Story 3, Mike was a no-show. In fact, he didn't even appear in Andy's childhood home videos. Therefore, based on Woody's speech about friends who were gone, like Wheezy, we can deduce that it's possible he was donated, sold, or discarded sometime after the events of Toy Story 2. This makes perfect sense. After all, he is a toy made for much smaller children, and Andy had already outgrown playing with Mr. Mike by the end of the second movie. Looking at it from another angle and being optimistic, we can imagine that maybe he's on tour with a rock band, taking his microphone skills to the max. Who knows, right? We'll wrap up here, but if you also love everything involving pop culture, check out these two video options we're leaving for you on your screen. You can watch either of the two, you're sure to love them.